Fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well. This is going to be not only a video where I talk about my favorite horror films of 2019, but I'm also going to be talking about my favorite non-horror films of 2019. I'm not going to go into great details over each film. Most of them I've done reviews for, and if I have done a review for said film, I will put it down below so people can check out the full review and see, why I came to the conclusion I did and why these films ended up where they are. So first, films I want to talk about, these are my favorite non-horror films of this year. 10, Spider-Man Far From Home. I absolutely love Tom Holland as Peter Parker. And Spider-Man, I think he's fantastic. Growing up collecting Spider-Man comics, he embodies everything that made that character so special to me as a kid. Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. Just an amazing film. I think it was a terrific sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming, and it was a terrific follow-up to the Avengers. Number 9 is a film called Skin, and this is a film that my brother-in-law John recommended to me, and it's about a young man who was raised by neo-Nazi skinheads, and he ends up turning his back on the lifestyle, and it's a really compelling film, and it's based on a true story, and it was so well done. It blew me away. Number 8 for me is going to be John Wick Chapter 3. I thought that was fantastic. Keanu Reeves is just on a roll. Terrific film, amazing entry in the John Wick franchise. I cannot wait for part 4 to come out. Next one, number 7, will be The Irishman. This was Scorsese's final gangster film, if you want to call it that, with his core actors, that being Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel, and of course Al Pacino. What an amazing film. It's a long film, 3 hours, but if you have Netflix, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's not my favorite of the Scorsese films with those key actors, but man, was it an amazing film, and the de-aging and everything, just really, really well done. Real good character study about your legacy and getting older and things like that. And plus, just with the backdrop of Jimmy Hoffa and all of the Teamster stuff, and it is just an amazing film. I definitely recommend checking it out. Number 6 for me was Avengers Endgame, a living comic book. For someone that grew up collecting comics, seeing that film play out, I'm grateful for that film and everybody that took part in it. It was amazing. Number 5 for me will be Glass, M. Night Shyamalan's follow-up to Unbreakable, one of my favorite films of all time, and my favorite film that he's done. Glass was great, in my opinion. Yes, it didn't play out like a lot of us would have liked to, but I really enjoyed it, and I love that it went a different route, and I think everybody involved did a fantastic job. Number 4 is going to go to Eddie Murphy's new movie, Dolemite Is My Name, which is on Netflix right now. I did talk about it briefly in my top 10 Eddie Murphy movies. Fantastic film. Number 3 is going to go to Joker. Again, Joaquin Phoenix. Cannot say enough great things about him. Huge fan of Todd Phillips and his directing. Guy's mostly known for comedies like Old School and the Hangover films, but man, does he know how to make a gritty portrait of a man that's losing his mind. That film is beautiful. Joaquin Phoenix deserves a Best Actor Oscar nomination, if not the award itself. He is amazing. Fantastic performance. Cannot wait to pick this up when it comes out on Blu-ray. Just an amazing film. Number 2 on my list is going to go to Quentin Tarantino's new film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and another amazing film by probably my favorite working writer-director right now. Tarantino is amazing. He is flawless in my opinion. Every film he puts out is a masterpiece. And number 1 on my favorite non-horror movie list, it might surprise some people, but it is Rambo: Last Blood. The most recent and final performance as John Rambo by the amazing Sylvester Stallone, who I am a huge fan of, and I have been a fan of him for a long time. Big influence from my late great-grandfather, and I've talked about it many times over the last couple years. For some reason, I just keep coming back to Stallone, whether it's talking about the Rocky franchise last year and talking about the Rambo franchise this year. It all comes back to my grandfather introducing me to those films when I was very young, and I really think it was a great note to go out on with the character, because it's very much back to the human quality that made First Blood so amazing. So yeah, I have a blast with Last Blood, and it is my favorite non-horror film of 2019. Now let's jump to the horror films. A lot of great horror films this year. In fact, I ran out of room. There was some that I couldn't include on my top 10 list, but there was a lot of great horror films that I watched this year. A couple that I'll mention that didn't make my top 10 that I actually really enjoyed. Number 1, Cemetery. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I actually enjoyed it. No, it doesn't beat the Mary Lambert original, but for me, I was happy that they tried some different things. Some of them didn't work. I don't think Pascal worked. Zelda didn't work for me. But the changing of what the outcome was for the family, especially the death of the child, they completely changed who it happened to, and explored some new ways that how would that affect you. And I thought that they did a good job. I thought they had a great cast. I didn't think it was the train wreck I thought it was going to be, and I did do a couple of videos talking about how I didn't think it looked very good. And I wish they wouldn't have spoiled everything in the trailer, but they did. But I really liked it, and it's one I own, and I've watched it several times, and I don't get the hate for it, but that's just me. So yeah, didn't make my top 10, but I did enjoy it. Another one I want to talk about that I didn't do a review on was Brightburn. I know some might consider that a superhero movie, but it was a very dark superhero movie, almost like what would happen if Superman went bad. I really liked that film. I really enjoyed it. It's one I need to pick up, but I really had a lot of fun watching it, and I thought it was excellently handled, and everybody involved in it did a great job. Need to watch it again. I've only seen it once, but that one time I watched it, it left a very big impact on me, so can't wait to check it out again. Okay, so with those out of the way, here are my top 10 horror films of 2019. Number 10 is going to go to Ma, starring Octavia Spencer. And I thought it was great. It was great to see Octavia Spencer as a lead in a horror film. She's done some horror films in the past, especially most notably Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie Halloween 2. She had a small part at the beginning of it. She gets killed pretty brutally by Michael Myers. But she does a great job in the film. I also love Juliette Lewis in it. And I liked all the kids in it. I thought they were really well done. They acted naturally. I didn't think any of them seemed forced or over the top. They all did a great job, and the ending was a little weird. I think it could have been stronger, but the execution of how everything plays out, I think, was done very well. And Octavia Spencer really was intimidating, and she did a great job of playing a very different role than I've seen her in the past. So yeah, I definitely recommend Ma. Definitely one to check out if you haven't. Number 9 is going to go to Annabelle Comes Home. Again, another terrific movie in the Conjuring franchise. I think each Annabelle film has gotten better. I haven't seen the second movie in a while, and Annabelle Creation, but I really like this one because it dealt more with the Warrens and their occult museum, if you want to call it, the room in their house with all the artifacts in it. I like that. It reminds me of, I know it's based on true events, but it reminds me of Friday the 13th, the series, so I really got into that. Plus I liked, again, all of the kids in it. They were all natural, not overdoing it, very good actors, and again, a terrific film, and I can't wait to watch it again. I just got it recently on Blu-ray. Number 8 on my list is going to go to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, based on the famous short stories. A great film. I think a terrific bridge to horror for younger horror fans that are interested in monsters but are too scared to watch, some of the heavy hitters. I think this is a good bridge into horror. It takes place on Halloween, so it has that really good Halloween feel. Terrific acting. Terrific special effects. Number 7 is Perfectionist. This is a movie I did a review on back in May. This is a Netflix film, and it's a mind bender of a film. This movie blew me away. I had no idea what I was going into when I watched it, but it's a film that people aren't talking about as much, so I wanted to make sure it was in my top 10. I don't know if people have forgotten about it, but it's definitely one that people need to check out. The cast is fantastic, and again, mind bender of a film. Fucking brutal in spots, and an amazing ending. Number 6 on my list is going to go to Midsommer, which is the follow-up to Hereditary, which was one of my favorite films from 2018. Midsommer fucked me up. It's just a movie that has not left me since I watched it. I don't like it as much as Hereditary, but I do think it's very, very impactful, very well done. I cannot wait to watch it again. It's another one I need to pick up. But what a terrific film, a mind bender. The final images in that movie have stuck with me since I watched it, and I cannot wait to see it again. 5 on my list is going to go to Crawl, directed by Alexandre Aja. It's just such a great film, and it really took the bad taste out of my mouth from how disappointing The Meg was. Crawl was everything I wanted in a movie. Yes, it's not involving sharks, this is involving gators, and it deals with a huge storm that has hit Florida. This father and daughter are trapped in a house, and these gators are coming into the house, and they have to survive getting away from them, getting out of the house. But there's so much tension in the film, and that's what The Meg was just sorely missing. Terrific performances and terrific direction. Cannot recommend crawl enough. Definitely go out and check it out if you haven't already. Number 4 is going to go to Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out. Us, a fantastic film. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I love the misdirection with this, and I love the performances in it. Everybody in it did a great job. The tether, just absolutely terrifying. Another amazing film by Jordan Peele. Number 3 on my list is Ready or Not. Wow, that movie just fucking blew me away, and I just watched it about a week and a half ago. Can't wait to rewatch it. But man, I love Samara Weaving so much. Can someone just give her several starring vehicles? She's an amazing actress that is sorely underrated. She is so good in everything she does. Very natural, terrific performance, and I just love the whole concept of this film. This woman gets married into a rich family, and they have this ritual on the wedding night where they all play this game, and whatever the game is, whoever is involved has to participate, or something bad could happen to the family. It's just really well done, and it goes in some directions I didn't expect it to. I thought the trailer was going to spoil a bunch of things for me, but it didn't, and it's just so funny and so creepy and so well done, and the ending was completely unexpected in my opinion. I didn't see, there was 2 shocking moments that just blew me away. Cannot recommend it enough. Samara Weaving is amazing. Everybody in the cast is great. Terrific performances. Check it out if you haven't already. Just an amazing film, and one that I think will become more popular over time. It's that fucking good. My number 1 and my number 2 were tough. I kept going back and forth, but again, I've only seen one of them once because it's not out on Blu-ray yet, and the other one I was able to watch a couple more times. So number 2 for me right now is Dr. Sleep. This is Mike Flanagan's follow-up to The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick Shining, and of course the adaptation of Stephen King's novel. The fact that this movie didn't do well at the box office breaks my fucking heart, because the amount of time and effort and energy and dedication that went into making this film, the fact that it wasn't embraced by audiences is just, it's heartbreaking for me. Mike Flanagan is probably one of the best writer-directors of horror right now. For me, he's neck and neck with Jordan Peele in terms of the output that they're doing. Everything is great, and this was no exception. This is probably my favorite thing that he's done. And the performances were amazing. The execution was great. I can't say enough great things about it. I hope people will support it on Blu-ray, and like Ready or Not, I hope it becomes a bigger hit on Blu-ray, DVD, and digital. It so deserves it. It's such a great film, and people need to check it out. So my number 1 for 2019, my number 1 horror film is It Chapter 2. I loved the film the first moment I saw it. I'm a huge fan of both of them. I was one of the naysayers when they first announced that they were going to be remaking It, because I grew up with the Tim Curry, Tommy Lee Wallace miniseries, 1990. I was in high school when that came out, and I didn't think it needed to be redone. But after seeing the 2 films that have been put out by Andy Muschietti, and the amount of talent that is involved in both It films, which I consider one big story, are in my top 5 of Stephen King films. The second film really got me emotionally, and I think it's because I am the same age as these characters. I was a teenager in the late 80s, and now they're in their 40s, and I related to that. And there was some really big emotional moments in It Chapter 2 that really got me, and for some reason, revisiting the film 2 more times since I bought it on Blu-ray, I've gotten even more emotional watching it. It's just a fantastic film. If you haven't checked out It Chapter 2, which I'm sure most people have, easily my favorite horror film of 2019, when we had a lot of terrific horror films. So that is going to be it, fellow fiends, my last video of 2019. This has been a really hard year for me. I've had a lot of soul searching the last couple years. I think for maybe 2 or 3 years of my life I was running, trying to find the next thing to make me happy. I think a lot of things over the last few years that have happened to me have happened for a reason. I think it was to make me a better person, to make me a stronger person. I feel like I'm in a very good place, a much better place than I have been in a very long time. So thank you all again for watching. I hope everyone has a very safe and happy New Year. And I promise you the Horror Zone will open again in the new year. So take it easy. Thanks so much again. Stay scared as always. Peace. I want to thank everyone for taking this time to drop by the Horror Zone. It really means a lot to me that people are supporting what I do here. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below. I upload videos at least once or twice a week. It would really mean a lot if people would spread the word about this channel. This is a passion of mine. I love the horror genre, and I'm really happy to share my love of it with all of you. So thanks so much again for checking it out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.